Ladies and gentlemen, wake up! We are witnessing a seismic shift in Indianapolis that could redefine the entire balance of power in the AFC South. Sources are buzzing, the phones are ringing off the hook, and what I am hearing coming out of Lucas Oil Stadium is not just standard off-season noise, it is a declaration of intent. We are talking about massive defensive overhauls and a potential quarterback exodus that changes the very fabric of this roster. You need to understand the magnitude of these moves right now because the future of this franchise hangs in the balance. But before I break down this exclusive intel, I have a critical request. We are pushing hard for 1,000 subscribers. Join this community, hit that button, and let's get there together.
Let's get straight to the meat of this situation, because the implications here are absolutely massive for the Indianapolis Colts. My sources indicate that the Colts' recent front office maneuvers regarding a new defensive leadership figure are not random. This is a calculated strategic chessboard move that experts around the league believe is designed with one specific target in mind: Trey Hendrickson. When you look at the hiring of a new defensive leader, you have to look at the connections and the philosophy being installed. This is not just about filling a vacancy on the coaching staff. It is about creating an environment that screams win now. We know Hendrickson has expressed frustration with his contract situation in Cincinnati. We know the Colts have been starving, I mean absolutely starving, for a premier game-wrecking edge rusher since the days of Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney. Chris Ballard has always been conservative, but the window is open right now while Anthony Richardson is on a rookie deal. The arrival of this new defensive figure suggests a shift in philosophy towards a more aggressive front, the exact kind of scheme where a player like Hendrickson thrives. We are talking about a guy who is a perennial double-digit sack artist. You put him next to DeForest Buckner, and suddenly you do not just have a defensive line, you have a nightmare for C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence. The insiders I talk to are saying that this specific hiring is the precursor, the necessary infrastructure to support a blockbuster trade acquisition. You do not bring in this caliber of defensive leadership unless you plan to give them the tools to cook. And let me be clear, from an emotional standpoint, this is exactly what Indianapolis needs. You cannot sit back and hoard cap space while the rest of the AFC gets stronger. You have to go out there and get a dog. Trey Hendrickson is that dog. If this hiring is indeed the signal that we think it is, it means the Colts are finally ready to stop playing nice and start playing to dominate. The analytics show that the Colts' pressure rate was inconsistent last year. They relied too much on blitzing or coverage sacks. Hendrickson changes the geometry of the field. He demands a double team instantly. This new hiring is the smoke, and where there is smoke, there is usually fire. I am telling you, keep your eyes on this situation, because if the Colts pull the trigger on this trade strategy, it validates everything this new coaching addition represents. It is a bold, aggressive, and necessary step toward a Super Bowl run.
Listen, this is the kind of deep dive analysis and insider connection you simply cannot find anywhere else. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and know exactly what Chris Ballard is plotting before it happens, you need to subscribe right now.
But the defensive restructuring does not stop at the top. It is drilling down into the very core of the unit. We have official confirmation that the Indianapolis Colts have hired a new defensive quality control coach, and this is not just some low-level assistant hire. This professional has a direct, proven pipeline to the linebacker room, and that detail changes the entire narrative. Now, the casual fan hears quality control and thinks coffee fetcher or someone who just cuts up video. You are wrong. In the modern NFL, these are the tacticians, the guys breaking down the opponent's tendencies at 3 in the morning. This hire is crucial because it signals a refocusing on the second level of that defense, specifically the linebacker core led by Zaire Franklin and E.J. Speed. Let's analyze why this matters. The Colts linebackers have been tackling machines, yes, but have they been game changers in coverage? Have they created enough turnovers since Shaq Leonard left? The answer is mixed. This new coach is coming in to refine technique, improve gap integrity, and elevate the football IQ of the room. When you bring in a specialist with this background, you are telling your current starters that good is not good enough anymore. We need great. We need elite recognition skills. The AFC South is a division that runs the football. You have Derrick Henry gone, but you have Joe Mixon in Houston now. You have dynamic running games to deal with. If your linebackers are stepping into the wrong gap or getting lost in play action, you are finished. This is a strategic move to tighten the screws. I love the intensity Zaire Franklin brings, I really do, but we need to see that translate into more negative plays for the offense. This new coach is the key to unlocking that next level of performance. It is about discipline. It is about knowing what the offense is running before they snap the ball. This hire tells me that the defensive coordinator was not satisfied with the consistency of the linebacker play last season. They want precision. They want violence with purpose. And frankly, it is about time. You cannot have a defense that bends and eventually breaks. You need a spine that holds firm. By investing in a coach specifically for this quality control role with a focus on linebackers, the Colts are admitting there was a flaw, and they are actively fixing it. That is what smart teams do. They don't wait for the collapse. They reinforce the foundation before the season starts. This is a massive upgrade for the intellectual side of the Colts defense.
Now, shift your eyes to the most important position on the field, because the quarterback room in Indianapolis is facing a potential exodus that we need to talk about. Sources are telling me that 2 quarterbacks from the current Colts roster, guys who have been fighting for depth chart positioning, are looking at the door. They are eyeing what we are calling the Sam Darnold blueprint to save their careers. We all saw what happened with Darnold. He was written off. He went to a new system in Minnesota, he got his opportunity, and he revitalized his entire reputation, likely securing a massive payday. These Colts quarterbacks are looking at that trajectory and saying, I can do that too. Speculation is rampant about who exactly is pushing for this move, but when you look at a guy like Sam Ehlinger or other depth pieces, the writing is on the wall. Anthony Richardson is the franchise. That is set in stone. If you are a quarterback in Indy, your ceiling is holding a clipboard, unless Richardson gets hurt. But these guys are competitors. They do not want to be safety nets. They want to be stars. They want to go to a team like the Raiders, or perhaps the Giants, or anywhere there is a quarterback competition they can actually win. And you know what? I do not blame them one bit. You have to bet on yourself in this league. The NFL stands for not for long, and if you sit on the bench for 3 years, the league forgets your name. This creates a fascinating dynamic for the Colts. If these 2 quarterbacks depart to chase the Darnold dream, Chris Ballard has to scramble to rebuild the quarterback room behind Richardson. You need a veteran presence, you need stability, but you also cannot hold these young guys hostage if they want a shot at glory. The domino effect here is real. If they leave, the Colts enter the draft or free agency looking for arms. It changes the draft strategy. It changes the cap allocation. This is the business of football being played out in real time. These players see the success of guys who left bad situations or backup roles and flourished elsewhere. They are hungry, and a hungry player who is not playing is a dangerous thing for a locker room. It is better to let them go and find their path than to keep them caged up. Watch the transaction wire closely, because when these moves happen, it confirms that the Colts are clearing the deck to go all in on Richardson, while these departing QBs try to find their own miracle elsewhere.
This offseason is not just about maintenance, it is about a total transformation of the franchise's identity. Chris Ballard is pushing chips to the center of the table with these defensive moves, and the quarterback room is thinning out to clear the way for total focus on Anthony Richardson. The question I have for you is simple. Do you believe these coaching changes are enough to lure a superstar like Trey Hendrickson to Indy? Or is this just wishful thinking from a fan base desperate for a pass rush? I want to see your honest thoughts in the comments below. Let's debate this. And do not forget, we are building something special here. Hit that subscribe button, join the family, and let's dominate this offseason together.